Join me on this live end-to-end Power BI project as we go from this to this. First of all, I'm going to grab a data set and get a template. If we head over to Kaggle.com and click on datasets, let's find one for visualization over here. And we'll start with the hottest right now, looking like vehicle sales data. Let's pull it up and take a quick look at it. Now we can see if we look at compacted view, we have the year, make, model, trim, body, and so forth. So all I'm going to do is hit download. Next, I'm going to head over to my website at tobygeeson.com/services, link below. I've recently started an Analyst Agency, and this is the first time I'm talking about it. There's a few options we have, along with a great promo video. I recommend you check that out. And here we sell a few things. One is a report builder template. This allows you to pick a style of report, a color, and from that, say I would like a table only or a mix of table and visuals, you get in touch and I make that for you. The other thing we do is build websites. But what we're going to focus on here is the store. Now, alongside a pandas tutorial for Python at only just £5, we have a few different templates here for Power BI. Now, I'd like to go along with just a one-page report here, and we're going to use this one here. I love the style of it. So I'm going to add it to my cart, buy it, and you can too. Now that you've downloaded and installed this beautiful template to work from, this report is going to be super quick and easy. The frame for it is right here. All we're going to do is delete the dataset which is currently in there, because I'm not using this IMDb top 250 movies which comes with this. I'm going to hit delete from model and instead use my own data. Don't worry, these will all disappear, but we can see what we had put in the values so that we can use it. Let's head over to get data. Now we need to just confirm if it downloaded as a CSV or XL file. As we know it's a CSV file, we go up to get data, text/CSV. Here we go, perfect. Now I could load it right in, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to transform data. This is crucial in Power BI. If you haven't used it before, it's a fantastic way to manipulate your data set before it even touches Power BI. Now what we can do is rename columns just by double clicking. We can change data types as well. We can perform various transformations such as making everything uppercase or lowercase. We can trim and clean it up and even split the columns, everything that you could do within Excel. The reason you do it in here is because each time you get that data set, it runs through all the same applied steps, which are recorded here, and you don't need to do anything rather than updating the data source. This actually seems fairly clean. You can see it's promoted the headers, so this top row here is identified as the headers, and it's changed some of the data types up here automatically. If we bump into any problems, we can always come back here to modify it by clicking on transform data using the Power Query editor, but for now we're just going to load it right in. So do we have a logo for this project? What I'm going to use actually is the logo for my website, and it's very easy to import. So once this data is loaded, and it may take a second, let's get that in. Fantastic. So rather than get data, we're actually going to insert and then pick image. Here we go. And I had that stored right on my desktop, so it's very easy to drag and drop. If I delete the logo here, remove, and drag it over, fantastic. We're already getting brilliant results. So here, I don't want to show the average runtime. Instead, let's look at the average selling price. That's the sum of selling prices, which is 8 billion, huge. But we can press this drop down arrow and make it average. Fantastic. Do you see how easy that is? And already our report is coming together beautifully with this drag and drop system. Then let's go here. This is a field called genre. Now, if we look at the original report, again, back on my website, what was in here before is a filter, a slicer to drop down on. So I don't have genre in this data set, but I may want to have a slicer by model. And instead of calling it genre, we would go up and change the title over here to model. Now we're able to drop down and select different models of cars. You can see actually various models have different names. It might actually be easier to use the make, as I'm sure that's more identifiable. So we'll put the make here. And the model there, just like that. Fantastic. And again, just make sure you rename that so it does all make sense. Cool. So I want to only look at BMWs, and within that, only one series. Fantastic. And again, if I want to clear the filters, that's very easy too. You can see how it automatically updates this here. We had a table there with just a few different columns, genre and count. Now that's the count of how many of each genre there was. I, for example, may want to have a look at the count of each color of cars that are sold. You can see they've been assigned a color code here, so that's not particularly useful. Some have, some haven't, and that may require some data cleaning. So what we could do is apply a filter. We do that by pressing here. Fantastic, dragging in color, and for all pages, I want a basic filter. I only want to see the ones which I easily know what color it is. Now, it may be that these other numbers are associated with the color, and again, if we drop this filter pane here, I want to have a look at the count of color. So we'll drop by and do a count. And we can sort it, so the most popular color already we know is actually black. And the least popular is lime. And to be honest, I'm not surprised. Fantastic. Again, right off the bat, we've got some beautiful visuals, and let's get right into it. So up here, let's see what it was before. It was a bar graph. It was the average rank by genre. So we could perhaps do the average selling price. So if we click here and replace this with selling price and make it the average and change genre to, again, let's do the make. Brilliant. And again, we'll just make sure just to change that title up there too. So average price by make. Cool. And the other brilliant thing about this is, like I said, the drop downs work really well. So if I just click on Aston Martin, you see how everything updates, and now I'm just looking at the colors for Aston Martin alongside the average selling price. Coming over here, let's take a look at that. What was it before? A similar sort of graph. So it's the budget. And let's look at what else we have. So let's instead look at the sale date. Fantastic. Now there is one issue. It's not formatted as a date. Not a problem. Like I said, we can always pull back up that transform. So let's go there, taking us to the Power Query. And we're going to find the date column. Now I actually want this to be date and time, a date time object. Let's add a new step for that. Cool. Now there was an error. It actually couldn't differentiate it. Brilliant. We'll just remove the step and let's have a play about with the transforming. So again, we could split that out, or we could add a column by example. Now this is something really cool where it figures out what you actually want to do. So let's just start typing. I actually only want December the 16th, 2014. Cool. And brilliant. It's actually already picked it up. Sometimes you have to get more examples and say, look here, I do just want December 17th, 2014, just so it's more sure of itself. But you've got it just right. Then I'm going to remove this column. Cool. And call this one date and change the type. Perfect. What I'm trying to get at here is there are many ways to approach situations like this. So you can see this is just one way. Now let's close and apply and get back to it. And we're going to have for the date, which you can see is now a date object, we're going to have, let's see how many models are sold, because we can make the assumption that each one of these lines in the data set, each row is a sale. And in fact, let's take a look just at the months. Brilliant. You can see there are some blanks here, and I do actually want to filter that out for all the pages. So let's do this here. Select everything except blanks. Now we can see the seasonality within their sales, seeing they make the most in March and the least around April and July. We can even go up here and add on data labels. Brilliant. You can see the backgrounds automatically change this light purple color too, really just matching a theme very effectively. Heading back to here then, do we want to do another date object? Not really. What I'm going to do is instead take a look at the other available fields. Transmission, this is cool. This could actually make for a great pie chart. So down here we'll look at transmission. Break both of these. Cool. Fix this. There you go. Mostly automatic, however some different types as well. So what is that? It's the blank coming back in. Now we want to remove that, or we can leave it in just to highlight where the errors are. The final thing that's important to me, let's have a look at the seller. So for each seller, I want to see their selling price. One thing we are going to do is, because I don't want all of this shown, this is the table version of what we're visualizing, and I could just whack a table up there. But instead, I'd like to look at the seller filtered for this visual, the top N, the top 10 based on selling price. And once we've applied that, you can see, here we go, it matches up perfectly. So that is the end. Let's close this down and give ourselves a zoom in. Brilliant. We can make any final amends now, but thank you very much for watching. Please do go check out our store. And now all the best and good luck.